Meteorologist Mike Moss in the Weather Center.
Currently at the Big O Country Studios, it's 10:09, and the temperature is 59 degrees.
At the Drugstore Health Mart Pharmacy in Lincoln and Annandale, they treat their customers as if they were family. Health Mart pharmacies are locally owned pharmacies with a personal commitment to the communities they serve. The Drugstore Health Mart Pharmacy honors prescription plans including Medicare, and Health Mart pharmacists are trusted healthcare resources, knowing that nothing is more important than your family's well-being. Visit your nearest Drugstore Health Mart Pharmacy, 626 Center Drive, Town and Country Shopping Center, Lincoln, and at 9576 Highway 10 in Vale. Spring into S&R Auto Sales in Shelby for the best deals in town. Buy here, pay here at S&R Auto Sales in Shelby. And be sure to pick up this week's What's Up Shopper and play the S&R Auto Sales Sports Quiz. You could win a free meal from the Clock Restaurant. So hurry on in now for the best deals of the year. Visit them online at srautosales.com. S&R Auto Sales, 417 South Post Road in Shelby, next to Bojangles, the home of the satisfied customer.
Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you can get it all at Pat's Drive-In in Cherryville. Pat's Drive-In opens for breakfast Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. Lunch and dinner served till 8 p.m. For breakfast, there's bacon, sausage, liver mush, gravy biscuits, and pancakes. For lunch and dinner, all of your favorite sandwiches, including Lotta Burgers, chicken tender plates, and Big Chef salad and chicken salad. Before the game or after the game, it's Pat's Drive-In, 604 West Church Street in Cherryville. Call 704-435-8833. Good morning. It's time for the Community Profile on WLON, WOHS, and WCSL, and on KTCBroadcasting.com, where you can tune in and watch our studio camera. Milton Baker here, along with co-host and executive producer, and the one without we could not do this show, and I seriously mean that. I want to talk about you, Sandy.
Oh.
Sandy Alexander. Of course, I'm talking about Sandy. Good morning, Sandy.
Good morning.
I'm glad you're doing better.
Thank you.
All right. Please introduce our guest for today.
All righty. We're always glad to have Officer Joel Shores, Captain Joel Shores from the Cleveland County Sheriff's Department is with us today. And I forget what last time Joel was here and what we talked about, but the topic today is something that you've read in the papers. It's something you've heard on television. It's a topic maybe a lot of people don't feel comfortable with, but it's a problem that we have, that sexting and cyberbullying that's going on. It affects our young people, and I'm sure Joel has some good advice to give to parents about what to do, how to talk to their kids. And thanks for coming, Joel.
Anyone with children of any age, right?
Any age with a cell phone.
What age does this really start becoming an issue? As young as?
Well, I will tell you that we have had them as young as 9 years old doing this stuff. And basically, if your child has a smartphone, there's the potential of this happening because of the pressures of the world today and how things are going on in the world. It's just, it's really a more serious problem than I think parents and grandparents really understand.
Yeah, and a lot of older parents and certainly grandparents, they don't understand the technology that well anyway.
Right.
And they can't fathom, compared to their day and time when they were children and when they were in school, they didn't have even the remotest idea there would ever be a time when kids would be doing this with cell phones, smartphones, etc.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all this technology that's coming out in the world today. I actually, someone had sent me something on my Facebook, and it was a picture of a girl holding up a sign that said, "My mama wanted to see how many people could actually see my picture." and she sent it out. And the last time I counted, the mother wanted people to comment where they were from. Obviously, everybody in the United States, every state, somebody commented, and I think I was up to about 13 as I was scrolling through looking. I was about up to 13 or 14 foreign countries that had commented on this girl's picture that they had saw it. So
and this got started on Facebook?
On Facebook. A mama had put the daughter's picture, and the daughter was holding up a sign.
I saw that.
My mom wants to show me how many people can see my picture on Facebook.
Yeah.
And the mom had asked people to comment below where you were from.
Wow.
And so everybody in the United States, someone in every state had saw it, plus however many foreign countries. I haven't been able to count them all. I want to do that. But when I go out and do my presentations, that's the one thing that I want parents and kids to understand is when you post something on that internet, the world can see it.
Yeah.
And literally the world, not just the United States, but the world.
Just and like she did this as sort of an experiment to see, but now just putting an innocent picture of a child out there, all these people that can see it, and who knows what, the minds of these individuals that will exploit children, they think in ways
we wouldn't ever go there.
Yeah, someone else would never go there, and they could use these pictures any number of ways to get more information about this child, to find where this child lives, whatever. Am I right in that?
No, you're absolutely right. I'll give you another example that when I do my presentations is a guy, and I can't remember which state it is right now, went and stole 83 pictures of one of his best friend's daughter. And the Department of Homeland Security called this mother and said, "Ma'am, we have just intercepted your daughter's pictures that this guy had went on Facebook. He was sharing them in a Russian chat room that was for sex predators and saying that he was this child's father, and look at what I'm able to have sex with every day." This was a 9-year-old child that this mother had posted on her personal Facebook page. And it's so easy when you post a picture to go on there, and all you got to do is copy it and save it to your computer. And this guy had stolen 83 pictures of this 9-year-old child, and the Department of Homeland Security had contacted the mother, and one of her statements was, "Well, he was one of my best friends."
Oh,
and
so
Oh my goodness.
she did know this person.
Oh yeah, she knew this person, but had no idea that he was taking these pictures and sharing them with guys in Russia and bragging about how he was able to have sex with them every day. So these smartphones have these GPS systems in them. It's so easy when you take a picture with your cell phone, attached to that is going to be GPS coordinates. So when you post it on Facebook, for those who are more technology inclined than I am, can actually take that picture and find those GPS coordinates and pinpoint exactly where that picture was taken.
Yeah. And as we said in the beginning, it's happening as young as 9 years old, maybe younger.
Yep.
And in schools and just in, they can do it at school, they can do it outside of school as well. But the problem in schools can really be
and another thing, I know I keep referring to the presentation I do, but that's kind of where I gather most of my information I'm talking to you about is this girl named Jessica Logan had shared a sexual image of herself with her boyfriend, and he decided that they were going to break up, or she decided they were going to break up. Well, he didn't like that, so he sends a picture out to all her friends and all this. She went to a funeral of one of her best friends who committed suicide for doing exactly the same thing. And then Jessica came home from that funeral, and her mother found her hanging in the closet because she committed suicide. So, it's just really, it's becoming an epidemic.
But what is motivating? What is leading these children to do that when they surely they know what the dangers could be?
Well, the professionals that I read and study about say that the mind of a person does not fully, the reasoning part of the mind does not develop to about 25. that when we're in our early teens, we don't think about consequences as much as we do when we get to after 25 years of age. And unfortunately, and I'll refer to girls right here, but this goes both ways, is girls think when they're 15, 16, in their teens, that when they meet this guy, that this is their love of their life. This is who they're going to marry.
That's the one.
This is who's going to have my babies. This is the ones, I trust him with everything. So in return, he will send messages like, if you love me, you will. And, you know, and so she ends up breaking down, sending a picture of herself, and then here a year down the road, 6 months, 3 months, a month, they break up. Well, guess what he now has?
Yeah.
He now has a picture of her naked. And if you don't mind me, I would just like to share something that I share in my class that I would just like to read here,
Sure,
if that's okay. It says, regardless of addictive patterns, our results show that more addicted youth were, the more severe their psychopathological, I can't even say that word, psychopathologies were. Study investigator Huang Hung Lee, medical doctor, PhD, professor of psychiatry at Catholic University School of Medicine, told reporters attending a briefing at the American Psychiatric Association's annual meeting. The number of adolescents addicted to smartphone use will increase because the popularization of smartphones is an inevitable social trend. And the younger they are, the more vulnerable they are, said Dr. Lee. This has become a social issue. They noted that it has negatively affected their studies, said Dr. Lee. 41.3% of youth reported excess gaming, 12% reported abnormal behavior after losing their smartphone, 9.3% reported conflicts with parents, and 9% reported using their smartphones to look at obscene material. These are highly predictive of addiction, said Dr. Lee. Our earlier study showed that using it in a particular situations was also associated with smartphone addiction, such as using it when going to bed or in the bathroom. Recently, we have also heard that smartphone abuse by youth is associated with depression, more exposure to obscene material, and even suicide. And that was some research from a doctor in 2013 that basically, and other professionals say, that really giving a child that is too young to have a cell phone is like giving them a loaded gun. They can't handle all this social media, all this stuff that's coming out in the world today. And a few other statistics I'd like to share if you don't mind me sharing them. In North Carolina, 1 out of every 5 teenagers will receive a sexual image. 8 of those 10 will forward that sexual image on to someone else. 150 people in less than 10 seconds can receive that image. This was in North Carolina, so I decided, what's going on with our teens here in Cleveland County. That's where I'm from, and I just wanted to go and find out see how our statistics were. So I went and randomly picked from different all races, all genders. I went into advanced classes. I picked kids out of halls, and this is what I asked them 5 questions. I said, do you know, one of the first question I asked, do you know what sexting is? Out of 148, all 148 said they knew what it was. Have you ever received a sexual image on your phone? 96 out of the 148, or 65%, told me they had. Now, I'm in uniform, and I'm a cop, and, just sitting there asking these questions, and they give me that. And then I asked, have you ever sent out a sexual image on your phone? 24 of the 148, or 16%, said they did. But I believe that's a little skewed because I've did this presentation, my presentation twice, 3 times now. The first 2 times I did it, I had parents call me within the next week crying about what they'd found on their child's cell phone when they started going through it. One of the mothers said, my daughter is coming to your next class. I said, well, ma'am, it's for an adult. I tailor it for adults. She said, I don't care. I have found some nudity on my daughter's phone. She's coming to your class. So she came to my class, and I read this statistic out, and she raised her hand. She said, "That's not right." She said, "My friends told me about you coming around, and they told me they lied to you because they were scared they would get in trouble." But I did have 24 out of the 148 say they did. So she's telling me that some of her friends didn't tell me the truth because they were scared.
So the number's higher.
So the number's actually higher. And then I asked, have you ever been bullied by the use of a cell phone? 64 out of 148, or 43%, said they had. And I asked if they'd ever bullied someone by using a cell phone. And actually 32, again, that's probably skewed,
Low.
of the 148, or 21%, said they had. So that told me this is a problem. And I understand what it was like, back in the day when I was in school, that, I wore glasses and I was called Four Eyes, and I understood how bad that hurt me just by them calling me Four Eyes. But now imagine the devastation that you sending a picture of yourself, whether it's guy or girl, to your boyfriend and or girlfriend. And then all of a sudden you walk into school the next day and everybody's calling you names because there you are revealing. That's devastating. That has led to, as I've just read and told you some examples of suicide amongst our teens. And, I've just made it my task I want to educate parents. I want to educate students. I want to educate grandparents, whoever will listen, that this is a problem. I think we all were mischievous maybe when we were in our teens. We didn't have this kind of stuff. I mean, probably back in the days, boys, if they got their hand on a Playboy book or something like that, that was probably, a very serious, problem with their parents. I know it would have been with mine, but that was kind of the extreme back then.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's kind of tame now compared to what can be done now. And you were talking about how these pictures can, circulate around not only to other students and et cetera, and folks on the internet who would use them for devious reasons, but it can get to. I've heard of cases where it gets to other teachers, faculty at the schools, and that's when somebody gets caught for it.
Right. And the kids don't understand this, and this is what I try to explain to the teenagers when I talk to the teenagers. If you're under 18 years of age and you take a picture of yourself nude, or I'll not get into all that, but basically child pornography is a lot less than just adult pornography. So basically it's just about anything is child pornography. But if you take a picture of yourself nude and you're under the age of 18, you now are in possession of child pornography, even if it's of yourself.
Oh.
So a lot of teenagers do not understand that. They think, oh, I'll go in the bathroom or the shower and I'll take a picture of myself in the mirror or whatever, they're doing. But if they're under the age of 18, they are now possessing child pornography. And it is unreal the amount of investigations that we're doing involving those under 18, not just considered child pornography, other things they're involved in. We get their phones and we download it, and that's something else that I think parents and grandparents and teens need to understand. Whatever you do on a smartphone, when you hit delete, it's not going away. These smartphones are nothing but a computer. It stays in that phone, and there's technology out there to retrieve everything that's ever been done, every text message, every picture, every Facebook post. There's technology out there that allows us to retrieve that information. And, it's kind of embarrassing when people delete something, they think it's deleted, and then they turn over our phones and we uncover a lot of stuff that they did a year or two back with their smartphone. They don't understand it's never deleted. And so that's something that teens and parents need to understand as well.
Sandy?
Joel, I've asked other people this question. I don't think I've ever asked you, but because I know children mature differently. You might have a 12-year-old per se. I'm just throwing 12-year-old out there. That's a very mature for their age. They know the right and wrongs of what to do with the phone. What age would you think that a child would be ready for a cell phone?
Wow, that's a loaded question, but I mean, just my uneducated opinion, I would say, with all the gadgets that come with it, I'd say at least 18. Because, with the cameras, with the videos, and that's something else that I like to discuss is these videos. I've got a video of where a fight has taken place in one of our local schools. And we have it pre-planned, obviously. The video was going before this guy goes up and assaults this other guy. But sitting there was another child, jumps up, grabs his cell phone, and starts videoing it. Mm-hmm. Now, if that child that got up and videoed that fight and put it on, say, YouTube, that child that just videoed that fight has just now committed the crime of cyberbullying. Mm. Because if you create any image, video, this is kind of the short version of what cyberbullying law is, that is intended to torment, torture another juvenile, someone under age 18, is considered cyberbullying. So that boy that literally got beat up, now if this video shows up on YouTube, obviously it's going to torment this boy that got beat up. Yeah. And this boy that videoed it probably didn't realize it, that now he's committed a crime. And something else I like to tell the teens is if you go out and you start videotaping these fights, that we can take your phone. And they all look at me like, you can't take my phone. And I'm like, yes, we can. And I said, think about it. What did you just video? A fight. And I said, is a fight a crime? And then they'll say yes. And then I'll say, well, you just videoed evidence.
That's right.
And then that catches their attention. I say, does law enforcement have a right to seize evidence in a crime? So anybody that videotapes a crime occurring actually now has evidence. So we as law enforcement have a right to take that phone. And guess what? We download that information off that phone. Well, we'll get a search warrant to do that, but get everything else that you've ever done on that phone. Oh, yeah. Law enforcement's going to see
that too.
Right. Yeah. So these technology is it's a great thing, but it's a terrible thing, if I can make that statement.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here thinking there should be two internets, the good internet and the bad internet, because so many wonderful things have been made possible because of the internet, but then the bad comes along with it, and there's no way to separate the two. Right. The same computer that can be used for making your life simpler, whether it be ordering a pizza or at your workplace, that same computer can be used for really all kind of really bad things, and it's got to be a challenge in your profession, Captain Shores. It's just keeping up with what is going on, what's next. How do you stay? Next? Can you even stay one step ahead of them?
It's really hard because it's something new is coming along every day. There's a new app coming along every day that these kids are getting on. That here's a new app, and it's challenging for law enforcement. So I understand it's got to be challenging for parents. As me and Sandy were talking on the phone the other night when she called to talk to me about the program, just the lack of communication between parents and kids now. You have a kid in the back bedroom text their mom who's in the kitchen when, or it's all about texting now. It's all about, pick up the phone and talk. Parents need to sit down, talk with their kids. They don't need to text their kids. That's so impersonal. And we're talking the other night about emails. We used to get things in the mail, and it was really now you get an email.
That's right.
If you don't have an email account, you're outdated.
Oh, you can't, yeah.
And so, but the thing about technology is man created technology. So everything we do involving technology, if man created it, man knows how to destroy it. So what would the world be like if all of a sudden the internet was gone?
Yeah, you think about that. I mean, like I say, that the good internet, what would we do without it now?
In the medical field, look what advances have been made due to computers and stuff. But I was thinking about Facebook. I enjoy my Facebook account. I have hooked up with kids I graduated high school with, kids we worked with at Crest. I mean, teachers. And then they put their grandbaby's picture on there, and I get to see that in a wedding or something like that. It never would occur to me to put something on there offensive. And somebody put on Facebook the other day, Facebook is not to air, and it had a basket of dirty laundry. Is not to air your dirty laundry. And I have to say, some people do that. And the people that I'm friends with or that I have friended on my Facebook account, if they say one bad word, they're gone. Because number one, I don't want to read it. And I don't want other people of my friends to look and say, Sandy's reading that. Where it's vile and ugly and they're mad, so they're venting. But that's on there. And I watch CSI. I love CSI. But I did not know for a long time there's a GPS in my smartphone. I can go anywhere and everybody can find me.
Yeah, someone
just where I'm at.
There's people that if you hook up on a Wi-Fi or Bluetooth and they're able to get into that Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, can actually send an app into your phone that they can track you and they can watch you and watch your moves and everything. And, a lot of people don't realize when they go to motels or they click onto some Wi-Fi, they don't, they're out of town and they click on this Wi-Fi, they hit this little accept button that, they accept the terms of the agreement. But basically what you're accepting is that Wi-Fi, you're allowing it to come in and look at your cookies when you're in and see what you're doing. Facebook, is free, but is it really free? Because a lot of people don't know when we signed up for Facebook, me included, that we clicked that I accept. Well, when we're on Facebook, they're coming into our computers looking at what we've searched for. And then, like, for instance, if we're searching for a car or something, and all of a sudden you start getting a bunch of emails about specials on cars. That's why. And if you go to Google and you start researching something over and over, and all of a sudden you start receiving, discounts on, now you know why. Because Facebook has sold your information. And that's how they're making money.
Well, I'll tell you, one other thing that you sort of touched on, doing the texting between each other when you're in the same room or same house or dwelling or whatever. It even happens in cars sometimes. I've seen, it's instances where that's happened. But anyway, you hear a lot about now, kids and young adults who grew up with this technology. They aren't socially, what's the word I'm looking for?
They lack social skills.
They lack social skills.
The interaction.
Right. Yeah, they don't lack the interaction one-on-one with people. And I saw a commercial last night, and I thought to myself, this just got me thinking. It said, never go to the post office again. Buy your stamps online. You don't have to leave your home or your office. You can even do this, anything you can do at the post office. Never go to the post office again. The post office, folks, is more than just a place to buy stamps. It's a place to, it's the old fence post, and the old, where you find out what's going on in your world, the good, the bad, and the ugly, I guess. But I just thought, that just never go to the post office again. Well, if I never went to the post office again, I wouldn't know what was going on in the community at all. I mean, that's...
Well, how many Christmas cards did you get this year as opposed to e-Christmas cards?
Yeah.
How many e-birthday cards you got instead of going to your mailbox and getting out cards?
Yeah.
It's easier to click and send.
But like I said, you were talking about there, Milton, that, don't go to the post office. Actually, someone could live in their home, never leave
Never leave.
and live a good life as long as they had money to it, because you can buy everything off the internet. And people are wondering what are happening to our jobs. Has anybody ever sat back and thought about that? That, you know, the Walmart cashiers that used to be there were self-checkout.
Oh, yeah.
There.
I think about it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
The malls were, you had salespersons that were selling you things that are now you go to the internet and buy. That's eliminating that job. That, you know, I worked down years ago. I worked at Phillips Pump where they made CDs. And I finally talked to the guy. I said, why did y'all shut down? He said, because of the internet. He said, we no longer make CDs. You can go on the internet and download all the music you want and pay for it there. We don't have to make CDs. So, you know.
It's kind of that way in every business. In some industries, it has provided a little extra life for that industry. Radio being one that I'm pretty familiar with. Yeah, sure. This automation, there's no DJs at certain times of the day, and certain DJs you do hear on some of the big stations during that they're not there at that time. They've pre-recorded all that. But it has kept radio, which is a struggling industry because of all the new technology and other means of advertising. Radio is an advertising medium, number one, and it's kept some stations on the air because of the less overhead they have to.
And I understand there's a lot of hard paper newspapers that are going out of business because you can get your news online. You don't have to read it in the paper anymore.
Absolutely.
But one other thing I want to share back to sexting and to parents, grandparents that are listening, do yourself and your child a favor. Take that phone and charger and put it in your room at night. You would not believe the number of kids that will go to bed, you think they're asleep, and when you go to sleep, then all of a sudden, you know, they're up in the middle of the night texting, because I hear over and over about how straight A students were straight A students until they got a cell phone. And then once they got that cell phone, they become addicted to it, that they stay up all night and they can't focus in school and their grades go down. So two things, take that charger and that cell phone, you keep it with you, and put that computer somewhere where you can monitor it in a family room. Don't let a child sneak off to a bedroom and have a computer where they can shut the door and nobody monitors what they're looking at, because it's a sad world, but it's a good thing. But we parents just need to monitor this stuff.
All right. Well, good information, and if anyone out there listening wants more details, they could contact you.
They can contact me. My email address is Joel, Joel, .shores @clevelandcounty.com. Joel, Joel, .shores, SHORES @clevelandcounty.com. Or my office number is 704-476-3053, 704-476-3053. And I'll be doing another class April the 21st. It's a Tuesday night at the Cleveland County Health Department. If any parent or grandparent's interested in attending, this is mainly focused for parents and grandparents, because I share some information about what to look for. So ask them not to bring their kids, because I'm kind of telling their secrets. Just give me an email or a call and let me know you're coming. That way I know how many to set up for.
All right.
But again, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Good
Thank you
job,
so much
Joel.
for coming. A lot of great information there. Very good show. And we told ahead of time for parents and grandparents to be sure and tune in to this program, this one especially. All right, Sandy, good job putting this show together. And tomorrow, we're excited about our guests tomorrow, who are Americans from this area, Cherryville in particular, who've been living in Australia for 15 years or so as missionaries. They're going to share with us some of their experiences in Australia, and they've raised a family down there, and they're down there, and they're here back in the States I think they're here on a 6-month furlough, and they're visiting relatives all around the Cherryville and surrounding area, and were kind enough to agree to come to the radio station tomorrow and talk to us a little bit about their work, their missionary work, and what it's like life in Australia. Excited about that tomorrow.
Yes.
All right, their last names are Keefe. She is the wife is Valerie Aker Keefe, who grew up here in Cherryville, and her husband. I'm not exactly sure where he grew up here, but around this area, but we'll find out more about him tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, that's the community profile for today. Thank you folks so much for tuning in, and join us again on the community profile Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. And if you have any suggestions for persons or topics for the show, please let us know. We're always open to your input. Thank you very much.
Why would I pay to listen to the radio?
Remember, it's just the same here as anywhere else in the world.
How's that?
Everything has a price.
Not radio.
So pay your money and don't expect any free samples.
Expect and demand free radio.
Big O